Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we are predicting the 25-26 Premier League. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded, but I thought this would be a good way to get back into the swing of things hopefully, and hopefully give some correct predictions. Let's try and go 20 for 20. Yeah, let's get straight into it. Alright, so in 20th I'm going to go Burnley. I just don't think Burnley are that good. Defensively they're quite alright, don't get me wrong. Going forward they're not great. They've just lost Trafford. It was a key part of why they done well last year in the Championship. I just feel like the better teams are going to break them down a lot more. I don't think they're going to get battered in games. I don't think it's going to be like 6-0 or 5-0 or anything. I think it's going to be like 2-0 losses, 1-0 losses, maybe a 2-1 here and there. But I just don't think they've got it for the Prem. So yeah, I'm going to put them 20th. 19th, I'm going Leeds. I just don't think the newly promoted teams are just going to do that well this year, to be totally honest. They could be one of the ones that will prove me wrong, but I just feel like there's just something about them that I just don't think they're going to do great. I don't think they've strengthened very well. Daniel Farke has never proven himself in the Prem. He's never been good manager there, which doesn't help their case. So with that, I feel like they're going to sack him, but probably maybe a bit too late to sack him, or they sack him early on and then they get someone who's not good enough as well. So yeah, I just don't think they're equipped for the Premier League, and unfortunately they're going to go back down. 18th, I'm going Sunderland. I feel like Sunderland have recruited quite well and they've done quite well with the signings they've done. I like the Xhaka signing. There's just something in my head that I think Xhaka's going to do quite well. The Ronaldo, I absolutely butchered that. The left-back, centre-back who they got from Atletico Madrid, he looks like quite a decent signing as well. He looks like he's going to be playing centre-back as well. They're quite youthful still, their team. So they probably won't stay up, but they've got a decent chance in my opinion. I feel like their home form games are just going to push them through and then decent results, especially around the teams around them. So, but unfortunately, I feel like they're going to keep the manager as well, and I just don't. We've never seen him improving either. So I feel like they might just slightly just go down. 17th, just to avoid, I'm going to go with Brentford. I feel like the difference with Brentford here, they've got a bit of a hard start of a run, and I feel like that Keith Andrews might go. I feel like they're going to sack him and then they're going to get someone like Sean Dyche, maybe. Don't know why, that just feels like where like Leeds, I think Leeds have quite a good start, so they're going to flip-flop between them two maybe about midway in the season. That's when I think like Sunderland are going to pick up a few points around teams around them. But I think Brentford are just going to miss out because they've lost Mbeumo, they're going to lose Visser, they've lost they obviously lost Flecken, and I know they've got Kelleher in, but we've seen when a goalkeeper from a top team who's number 2, number 3, then comes in to be number 1. It does take a toll on them a little bit, and then it's a lot of pressure for them. Like Ramsdale's a key example for that quite a bit. So I do think Brentford are just about avoiding it, but the inexperience of the manager, I feel like he'll be gone quite soon on. 16th, I'm going Wolves. Now this one could be completely wrong. I feel like Wolves could also be like possibly up into this tier. They could be 12th. But I feel like I'm going to just put him 16th. The manager Pereira, good manager, done well last year. I feel like Cunha, it's just a bit of too big of a miss for them to push on into that higher mid-table. But I feel like in the next couple of years they're going to keep growing and growing, and they could completely prove me wrong. They're one of the main ones that I'm a bit hesitant to put them where they are. I feel like they're probably stronger than what I think they are. I know they lost Ait Nouri as well. I just feel like their replacements ain't Prem proven. Kind of put in my mind a little bit that they might not do as well. Like I said, they could prove me completely wrong. I'm sure Wolves fans are probably quite annoyed where they're put, but I don't think after the last few seasons that's like going to be the worst shout in the world either. 15th, I'm putting West Ham United. I like the signing of Diouf, the left back. Palace wanted him, and he looks like an absolute danger up and down that left hand side. He looks like a real problem, to be honest. 19. So a bit of experience there maybe. Walker Peters is also a decent little signing. Callum Wilson up front. I know he's on a pay to play. But I just feel like it's not what they needed. They lost Antonio and then they're getting Wilson in. Injury prone maybe. Fulkrug, I know he's scoring a few in pre-season, but it's pre-season. I just don't really rate him. He's a bit too slow for me. Jared Bowen's probably going to carry him to 15th. Again, they could be higher up. They're kind of similar to Wolves. They could be up in this region, but I feel like they're probably not going to be far off 15th. So I'm going to put them 15th. And in 14th, I'm putting my beloved Palace. Now, I know people might be a bit shocked with that and think that we should finish higher, but we've got the Conference League coming up now because obviously we were screwed out of the Europa League. which is very annoying. But we've got the Conference League. It's another game, another couple of games, and we've got to do playoffs for that. So the first 3 game weeks we've got 2 games to basically play, which is going to be more than obviously a lot of other teams. So unfortunately that's not going to help us at all. I also think like we're going to probably lose Gay now, which is going to be a massive miss, and maybe even lose Eze, which again is a massive miss. And we've not really brought in anyone to replace him yet. We brought in Walter Benitez, who's a good goalkeeper, but Henderson's still going to be number 1. And then Soso looks like a decent left wing back as well. But I feel like we need to sell to be able to buy. And to be totally honest, like unfortunately that's why I think we're going to go for the Conference League and try and push for it. Especially if we keep Eze, I think we're going to try and win the trophy there, and it's going to hinder our league form. But I think we're good enough to kind of stay around the 14th to 16th region. I don't think we'll be threatening to go down. Same with Wolves and West Ham, to be honest. I don't think they're going to be threatening to go into this bit. I think these 4 are pretty much going to be the bottom 4 the whole season. Not going to do as well as what a lot of people are probably predicting us. And in 13th, I'm going Fulham. To be totally honest, I forget Fulham are in the league sometimes. They've got a decent squad. I feel like they're going to do all right. They're not going to set the world alight, possibly. I don't think they've really recruited anyone to up them in a tier. So I think 13th is quite a fair prediction for them. They're probably, like I said, they could maybe be 12th. They could also be 16th. That like these 4, I feel like the most interchangeable 4 for the 13th to 16th region. So yeah, I feel like Fulham are just stagnating into around the bottom mid-table. Oh, if I'm going Bournemouth, let's be honest, they've lost their whole back line. They've lost Kirkes, Hoyson, and then Zabani. Lost their goalkeeper. I know they got Petrovic in, but like, if he's that good, why have Chelsea not wanted him? They've got Robert Sanchez in goal. Like, there's a reason Chelsea are getting rid of him. I feel like they're going to be 12th though, because I think Iriola's a very good manager. They've still got Semenyo. Evan Nilsson's a decent striker. Like I said, I don't really know too much about how they recruited, but I think 12th's fair. Like, they had a very good year last year, and I think they're just going to drop off slightly more because I don't think their back line's going to be nowhere near as good as they was last year. In 11th, I'm going Everton. I think Everton have recruited very, very well. That Thierry Barry up front looks like a real problem. Jack Grealish now in the number 10 with NDI, probably playing off Barry. It's going to be very, very good. Obviously, they've still got Pickford. Tarkowski's a good centre-half. Braithwaite's a good centre-half. They've just got a solid squad. And I think, like obviously, David Moyes is a very good manager as well. I think they've dropped off on their standards a few times the last few seasons, and I think now they're going to really pick it up again, and they're going to push a bit more up the table. I don't think they're going to go way up into like the Conference League or the Europa League, but I think 11th, and maybe they could sneak into a top half finish, but I'm going to go with 11th. In 10th, I'm going Forest. Now, I despise Forest at the moment anyway, so I've been trying not to be too biased, but I think 10th's a good finish for them still. They're going to have Europa League, and I think they're going to want to push for the Europa League because the owner's a bit of a nutter. Nuno Santos, he does get found out after a few seasons with a team. I feel like they're finally going to be found out a little bit. They've also lost Alanga, who's a big part of their counter-attack in football. Don't think Chris Woods are going to have as good of a year as he did last year. Same with a lot of their other players. Murillo and Milenkovic are still going to be decent at defence, so I don't think they're going to get battered by teams. But I think the Europa League, like I said, they really want to push for that. They fought so much to be in it, so why would they not try and go far in it? I don't think they're going to go too far, but I think that's going to hinder them. In 9th, I'm going Brighton. Again, I don't really like Brighton. It pains me to put these two teams next to each other at the moment. They're just always solid, aren't they? Like, their recruitment strategy is good. They might lose Baleba, but they'll probably have some sort of random player they bought for 1.5 million 4 years ago what's going to pop up, and he's now just turned 18, and it's going to set the world alight in centre mid. So I think 9th's a fair place for them. Again, I don't think they're going to be pushing. I think the teams above them are just going to be slightly quality-wise better than them. I think Brighton they're here to stay now, aren't they? They're not going to be much further down than that. I don't think they're going to be. They might drop down to like a 10th or 11th, but I don't think they're going to be. I think 8th to 9th to 10th is probably their region. But yeah, I'm going to go with 9th. With 8th, I'm going Aston Villa. There's just something odd with Villa at the moment. They're obviously Gesand. I might butcher that name. The striker / winger, Palace wanted him. Looks like a decent signing. Watkins looks like he's going to stay, which is a few goals. But there's just something odd with them. Obviously, they've got Europa League as well, and I think they're going to try and push for that because if they win it, they get Champions League. So that's probably going to be their best form of trying to get the Champions League as well, because I don't think they're going to push into the top 4 / 5. So yeah, I'm going to go with 8 for them because there is just something odd about them at the moment. But they're still a decent little squad. and the manager Unai Emery is good. So I think 8th is going to be fine. 7th and Europa Conference League, I'm going to go with Man United. I think Man United have actually recruited a lot better than people think. I don't really rate Sesko too much, but he's going to be an upgrade from Højlund. Mbeumo and Cunha, very two good signings. We've got to remember, Man United ain't the massive overperforming club of battering teams anymore. So I think we need to realise that Cunha and Mbeumo know what it's like to be these stars in worse teams, like footballing ability wise. And I think these two are going to kick on this season. They've both pushed for the move. All three of the front three have pushed for the move. The defence goalkeeper is obviously a problem, but I think they might be getting Donnarumma. Maybe it might be Man City. If they get Donnarumma, then maybe even be higher. But I think Conference League's fair. Like, it's obviously a big upgrade for them from them last year, and they've got no European football this year, so they haven't really got an excuse. So I feel like Conference League is a fair place for Man United. 6th and taking up one of the Europa League spots is going to be Newcastle. With Newcastle, with how many rejections they've had in the summer and the issues that they've had throughout, it's got to be a problem with the backroom staff. Behind the scenes, it's going to be an issue. Isaac's obviously refusing to play now, which is just going to be a problem. They should just cash in, or should have cashed in to sell him, and then they could have recruited a bit better. They've just signed a centre-back from AC Milan. Not too sure what he's like. Not seen people rave about him or people gutted that they missed out on him. So they might be telling. Obviously, they got Ramsdale in goal, who's addicted to getting relegated. So just went down with the worst team in the league last year, and he done quite well. But he's probably an upgrade on Pope. But I don't think he's that good, to be totally honest. They obviously need a striker because now they've lost Wilson, and they're not going to get every striker they've gone for. They've not been able to get. So I feel like it's going to be a bit of a drop-off. I feel like they've still got quality because their midfield is one of the best in the league with Tonali, Bruno and Jolinton. So I feel like that's going to keep them afloat. Their fullbacks, Hall and Livramento, very, very good. Their depth is not very good, which I think like all it takes is Lewis Hall to be injured. You have to put Livramento left-back, Trippier. And if one of them gets injured, they're screwed. Same with the midfield. If one of them gets injured, they're screwed. And now they have no striker. Isaac not playing. They have no one to replace him with. So I think 6th is a very fair position for Newcastle United. With 5th, I'm going with Tottenham. There's just something about Tottenham at the moment with Thomas Frank. I feel like they're going to do very well. They've got a bit of life about them again, and they just seem to be a better team. They've not lost a lot of players. Kudus is a good signing. Looks like they're getting Salvinio. They're going for Eze. If they get Eze as well, then they're definitely. I think they might be in Champions League. The only issue is why I think they won't get Champions League through the league is because they're in the Champions League, and I think that's going to hinder them a bit. But I don't think they're going to go too far in the Champions League, so that would mean that they would be able to focus on the league, and I don't think they're going to win a cup or anything. Europa League, I think, mainly because Thomas Frank's going to sort out their stability in the defence. Starting with the Champions League spots, I'm going 4th with Chelsea, but who I have winning is, I think, definitive. That's who I've always thought was going to win this year. But second to 4th, sorry. I just don't know. It's hard to call. I think it's going to be a bit of a 4-horse race, or definitely a 3-horse race. Chelsea obviously won the Club World Cup. They sell very well. They've made a lot of money. They've brought people in. They've got a very good team still, but it's just a bit young. I think one more year and then they're going to be pushing for the title. I think a lot of the problem is Chelsea fans, you ask them, have you got a good team, blah, 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 and they tell you they've got the best attacker in the league, best defensive midfielder in the league, best right back, and then they say they're not going to challenge for the title. There's just their centre-halves and their goalkeeper just lacking that bit of quality to be able to get into the champions title race a bit more. So I think that's what's going to drop them off. They're going to concede a lot more than the teams I put above them. 3rd place, I'm going to go Man City. Man City, and who I have second is the one I'm in an iron. Like I said, the 2nd to 4th is the ones I think is very interchangeable. I feel like City concede too many goals. I know they've got Nuri, but he's not a defensive fullback, and I think they maybe needed a bit more. They're obviously changing the system a bit. Shersky, he's an exciting player, but is he going to change them for good? Maybe, maybe not. Obviously, they've still got Haaland, who's going to score bags of goals. They've just signed Trafford. They might be getting Donnarumma as well. But there's just something that I just think the two above them are just probably just defensively more stable. I feel like if Haaland don't have a good game, then City struggle to have a very good game at times. So I'm just going to go with City at 3rd place. Now, if you can tell, what I've got left is Liverpool and Arsenal, and I'm going to go with 2nd place Arsenal, and the champions is going to be Liverpool. Now, with Arsenal, they've been telling us, the Arsenal fans, that all they need is a striker, and then they're going to change exactly how they play, and they're going to be so much better, and they're going to win the league. Yeah, with Gyökeres, he's done well in the Emirates Cup. I know it's only a friendly tournament, and I just think like if Saka gets injured, then that's a lot of output for assists and stuff that's gone. I don't think Odegaard's that good. If Arsenal get Eze, they could challenge for the league a bit more. I don't think they're going to get Eze. I don't think Tottenham's going to get Eze either, but I feel like Tottenham are more likely the ones to get Eze. I just feel like there's just something with Arsenal as well that there's just a bit of a bottle in them. And I just feel like that they're going to get second again somehow. Like I said, there's something about them that Liverpool just seem to have a bit more of a winning mentality at the moment. If Gyökeres has a really good season, I think they'll get closer. But I just think that Liverpool have recruited better than Arsenal have, so that's why I'd put Arsenal in second. And continuing with Liverpool as the champions, like I said, I think they've recruited the best in the whole league. Like watching the Community Shield, obviously Palace won against them. Verts look very good. Like all their new signings, Etiki, fucking hell, I can never say that name. The striker Hugo always does very well. Well, he done very well against us. He done well last year, and I think that's shown that they don't need Isak. They've still got Van Dijk, who's the best centre back in the world. Their fullbacks Frimpong and Kerkez look quite good. Slot's slightly changed how they're playing this year, which might kind of the attitude of we're going to score more than you, which could help them. It could also be a very big negative for them. But I just feel like they've got quality, a bit too much quality. And I feel like even if Salah, obviously going off on AFCON, really around Christmas he tails off anyway. January time he tails off. So are they going to miss him too much? Probably not. And like I said, I think they've recruited well enough to be able to replace him, or maybe if he's not having the best season, the numbers that he would get on not a very good season. So yeah, I'm going to put Liverpool at number 1, and they're going to win the title back to back. Alright, thank you for watching today's video. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with my predictions, or where you would put everyone in your predictions, basically. Yeah, I guess I'll see you on the next one.